Hey guys, this one's going to be a further exploration of the Greenscouts, which I have done in my last video as well. I am still exploring the idea of what the Greenscouts are going to be like, which is why I'm taking my time making the female version in this video. And if you're new here, the Greenscouts are part of my world building project. They live in my world called Persevera, which is a world that is in conflict with demonic forces from another world. And the demons came 30,000 years ago, and they just keep coming even today. So back to the topic of the Greenscouts, I have decided to make some changes to this character concept from before. And I also have decided to add more lore, extra lore. So let's just get right into it. Okay, and lore number one. Lore number one is going to be how I no longer want their spots, as in their literal spots on their skin. I no longer want those to be tattoos. I want them to be naturally occurring, like an animal. I'm not quite sure if it's going to change during different times of the year or during, I don't know, like what they could be going through, maybe some kind of extreme conditions that they're going through. But I just want them to be naturally occurring. They might change or they might stay the same. I'm not quite sure yet. I just want them to have spots, and I want those spots to be naturally occurring. Like they're just people who have spots. And lore number two is going to be how I want their eyes to be very sensitive to light, like a cat, as in they're able to see very well in the dark and also underwater. And in terms of their eyes being sensitive to light, believe it or not, this is actually not all that alien for humans to be able to do. Like for example, in Thailand, I believe there is this one tribe who I believe they're called like sea nomads or something. But anyway, the children, even as kids, they can actually, the moment they go underwater, they go for a swim in the ocean, their pupils, they can actually constrict, they become super tiny. Like let's say, have you ever seen a cat's eyes in the dark or at night? They look super dilated, right? And this is the opposite. It's kind of like when a cat's eyes looks like slits, but of course our eyes, our pupils don't look like slits, right? They look like circles. They're circular. So the eyes of these people, when they go underwater, they actually constrict and they're able to see underwater, which is very cool. And that's one trait I would like these Greenscouts to be able to have. And lore number three, will be how the Greenscouts are long-living. A Greenscout can live well over 200 years, and although I still haven't decided how long they can actually live for, like they might even live for 500 years, maybe even 1,000, or maybe they won't even die, I don't know. But at least for the Greenscouts right now, I want them to be long-living, at least 200 years old. And lore number four, I want them to have a strong body. Like, I know that might sound cliche. It's just like, fantasy setting. Fantasy people, they're tribal, they're just strong. Like, that sounds cliche, but it's actually a real thing that can happen to humans who are living in extreme conditions. Like, where I come from, by the way, I know of a tribe in my country who have big feet. Like they live in a jungle and they're quite isolated from the outside. So the thing is, these guys have a truly isolated tribe that nobody ever gets to visit, like from the outside. So they're very isolated. And then they also have the outer part of the tribe that is still isolated, but you actually get to visit them. Anyway, they are a tribe that embrace nature in all things natural, and they reject modern related stuff. Like they don't wear shoes, and they don't have like modern knives or like axes, like they make their own stuff. And if you give them anything, and if it's overly modern, they will reject it. And also, let me tell you of this one account, like a story from a friend of mine. And this friend of mine is the fit type, like he works out, he goes on hikes, he's a climber too, and he likes to go on jogs, he runs marathons. Well, he's quite fit, he's strong. But one time he went to this place where he knew the tribesmen are known to settle, and in order to get there, he had to climb up this extremely steep hill, and it was so steep, it was almost vertical, like a cliff, but as he struggled to climb up this hill together with his tour guide and his friends, he actually saw one of these tribesmen climb up the hill using mostly just his feet. So it was like this guy was just walking up when everybody else had to climb up, so that's an interesting thought to keep in mind. And my friend said his feet were so big, they look kind of like hands, So that's what I mean, like evolution, like just features like this are not all that alien. Like how even people today, actually they're not different in terms of just like how their faces look or the skin color, or something as petty as their hairs just look different or different color. It can actually something as big as being that much stronger than others, or just more acclimated to, or like more adapted to the environment that they're living in, like kind of like being able to see underwater. And law number 5, this is about their bodies. I want them to have very warm bodies. And also, again, this is not such an alien thing to be able to have. I actually know some very warm people, and it was so warm that I got a story for you. One time I was drenched and we were getting rained on, and I was next to this person of mine, I was next to this friend of mine, and she was like radiating heat. I was like, whoa, how are you so hot? And like we were both completely drenched by the rain, right? But then she could actually hover her hand, like her palm, on top of my skin, like not even touching it. Like it was like a good 5 centimeters away, and I would not only feel warmth, I would actually feel heat. Like she was like, and she wasn't sick, she was healthy. She was just hot all the time. I was like, wow, like people like that actually exist, kind of like superheroes. So yeah, that's one of the things that I want my people to have. I want them to be very warm because they live in swamps, where it's very wet, lots of rivers everywhere, lots of mud, and they are in constant need to just dry themselves, and they barely wear anything, and the only thing they wear is to just protect themselves, however necessary. Maybe they might even have some armor on their arms just so they could fight something that might attack them, but other than that, they're barely wearing anything just because they are in constant need to just get dry. So yeah, they have warm bodies. And law number 6, I want them to have this instinctual fear of demons. Not only because the world that they're living in has been under attack by demons for 30,000 years, but they also happen to be living in this place called Foggy Marsh, which is a relatively secure place. It's quite safe. It's like a little safe haven. But the thing about the Foggy Marsh is it is surrounded by this very dangerous forest called the Harvester Woods. And the Harvester Woods is a forest that is just packed with very dangerous demons. And over the very, very long time they have been settling in the Foggy Marsh, thousands of years, they have gained this instinctual fear of demons. It's kind of like how humans are they have this natural fear of snakes. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen a snake. Well, I've seen snakes, and every time I see snakes, I just get freaked out. And you know how people can notice when something might be stalking them or might be looking at them from behind, and like you just have this feeling that something's watching you, and you just look back, like you can't help it. Like, it's kind of like that. So I want them to have this instinctual fear of demons out of being in close proximity with demons and having to avoid them. And I like to think of this as an advantage for them so that they can better avoid demons just like naturally and kind of know how to fight them if they ever have to. And lore number 7, I want them to have green hair. Like, I don't really know how much to explore and how much lore I should add regarding to the green hair part, but I know I just want them to have green hair. And for now, the only reason is because it might have been an evolutionary adaptation, or it might even be an evolutionary change as a result of just consuming whatever they can consume wherever they live. Maybe it's the water, maybe it's the food, maybe it's the meat. But whatever it is, all those thousands of years they have remained in this place have resulted in them having green hair. And I'm going to leave it at that. If you have any cool suggestions you think might suit green hair, let me know in the comments below. And also I like to think of the current time period we live in here on Earth, here on Mother Earth, to be a time of peace. And I'm sure like lots of wars are going on right now, Ukraine and stuff, but like in the grand scheme of things, it's actually all quite petty. Like, there are no meteors falling, and we are the top predators, fortunately. We're top of the food chain. Nothing's eating us. And so even though there are wars, our very existence as a species is not in jeopardy. So I don't think we are that much more motivated to undergo such drastic forms of evolution, or like undergo evolution at as rapid of a pace as we did back when we were still like cavemen. So other than the people who are still living out in the wilderness, the rest of us have it easy, like we've probably stopped experiencing this need to just undergo a more primal version of adaptation, evolution, where our bodies just change to fit our surroundings, adapt. Like, why would we continue to adapt to survive in nature when we are at peace? And the only thing we might adapt to become is probably becoming smarter, bigger, and stronger, but not because of something as extreme as like extreme environments that we live in, but just by choosing to eat healthier food that makes us stronger and smarter. Like, if you want an example, just take a look at athletes. Those guys are like superheroes, they watch what they eat and they just try their best to make their bodies as strong as they can. Like, I bet if top athletes only had babies with fellow top athletes, 3,000 years later, we're going to have some crazy strong human beings, So now we're talking about the Greenscouts, comparing them to actual humans living today and what we are capable of. I think that just makes the evolutionary traits I have come up with sound too modest, especially for a fantasy people who are living in a fantasy world with demons. And with time, they have had to undergo evolution, all that time, so long. Surely they would have evolved a lot more, but the thing is, I don't want to overdo it. Like, I know I will be adding more features to the Greenscouts, just extra things that make them special. But for now, this will be all. Like, I believe there's this fine line that differentiates perfection from just being too much. Like, I will just keep slowly pushing it until I feel like I've arrived at a good spot. Maybe I'm just not good at making lore for characters. That's probably the case, actually. So I would really appreciate it if you tell me your thoughts in the comments below. There might be some cool stuff that you can recommend that I can implement into my own world building. Like, I always like it when you leave comments. I always read all of them and reply. And now that I have made the female Greenscout to go with the male Greenscout, I plan on making all the Greenscouts, as in the elderly. Yeah, so we got the boys, we got the girls, now we need old people. So please subscribe so you won't miss out on my uploads. And don't forget to like the video too. Check out my channel if you want more stuff just like this. And I'll be seeing you in the next video.